Hi, I'm Dawn Demari, and you're listening to A Teaspoon of Healing. So, today I'm going to talk about mindful eating. So, as some of you know, I am a registered dietitian, and mindful eating is something that really interests me. And I've worked with clients and patients with this, and it has really helped them. It can help you if you just want to learn how to tell if you're hungry or if you're full. It can help you tap into those hunger and fullness cues. It helps people who want to maintain their weight and want to lose weight. And it also helps with digestion. It helps with digestion because when you're eating mindfully, I will talk about, it helps you stay in a parasympathetic state instead of a sympathetic state, which is fight or flight. It helps you stay in what is called rest and digest. So when you're eating, you're calm and you're not stressed out. And so your digestive system works more properly. So there can be less digestive upset. So, what is mindful eating? Mindful eating is not a diet. I want to say that first. And it's also not intuitive eating, although they can kind of overlap because intuitive eating does focus on noticing your hunger and fullness cues. But mindful eating is a little bit different. So, mindful eating is about focusing on how to eat rather than what to eat. So, where diets are going to be focused on what to eat, what you shouldn't eat, mindful eating is focusing on how to eat. And it's not about restriction as well. And mindful eating is being aware and present when you eat. So when we think about mindfulness, mindfulness is about being aware. It's about being present in our lives and noticing the things around us, coming back to ourself, coming back to our source. And it's the same thing with mindful eating. It's being aware of the food on our plate, being grateful for it, and being present when we eat. So, what does mindful eating help you with? Mindful eating helps you use your senses with each bite. So, this can help you use all of your senses when you're eating. So, you're going to be able to appreciate the taste of your food, the texture, and the aroma of your food. You may even find that the food has a different taste when you're really paying attention. It also, as I mentioned, helps you assess your hunger level. So in intuitive eating, they talk about a hunger and fullness scale. It's hunger and satiety. Usually satiety just means being full, and it goes from 1 to 10. And so the same thing can apply here. When you're using mindful eating, you can assess, oh, am I hungry? Okay, I think we should continue to eat. Or am I full? Do I feel that I'm not hungry anymore so I don't get overstuffed? Sometimes if we're eating, I guess, mindlessly, which is normal and fine to do, of course, sometimes we won't notice actually that we are no longer hungry. And then we can eat past the stage of fullness, which if you're trying to lose weight, that's not great. But even if you're not trying to lose weight, it's not great because then you get overstuffed, leading to bloating, digestive upsets, and just a lot of other uncomfortable things. So it can help you assess your hunger level. You can be fully present in the moment when you're mindfully eating. And this is important. You can take pleasure in and savor your food. Yes, food is fuel, but food is also something to enjoy. And when you're eating mindfully, you can really enjoy and savor your food. It also really helps you feel in charge of how much you are eating. Again, going back to that hunger and fullness scale, if you're really noticing when you're full, you can feel, okay, I'm in charge. I'm not going to eat anymore. I'm going to, save some leftovers. I'm going to leave the rest on my plate and save it for tomorrow or save it for later. If you're in a restaurant, you can take some home. So it really helps you feel in charge of that. And at the same time, it helps you be free of the judgment about food. It helps you be free of shame when it comes to eating. So how can we eat mindfully? Here's a few ways. You can sit down when you're eating. That's really important, actually. And I need to follow this sometimes. Sometimes I'm on the go and I'm having something quick to eat and I'm standing up. So I have to remember, let's sit down. You really need to resist the temptation to eat while standing. And it can be challenging. Sometimes we can open the fridge and there's something in there and we're just taking a little drink or eating a snack. It's not good to do that. But I understand, though, We're all really busy, and sometimes preparing a meal or eating a meal can just seem like, oh no, something else to do, something else on our daily to-do list. But it's really important to take a moment to sit down, plate your food, put your food on a plate, and appreciate each bite while you're eating. So when you're giving your meal your undivided attention, you're going to find greater enjoyment in your food, and it may help you eat less because you're really focusing on it. You're not mindlessly taking bites, just rushing on to the next task. Another way to eat mindfully is to slow down while we eat. Our society is very fast paced, so we often rush through our meals. When we slow down, this again lets us truly savor the taste, texture, and aroma of the food, and it helps with digestion and reduces the bloating caused by swallowing air. So when you're eating very quickly, you're swallowing air much more frequently while you're eating, and that air turns into gas in our bellies and causes bloating and other digestive upsets. So when you eat slowly, it minimizes that, and it also helps digestion. Another thing to do when you're trying to eat more mindfully is to minimize distractions while you're eating. So many of us eat while multitasking. Eating in front of the TV is very common, especially snacks, and eating while scrolling on my phone. That's something I've done on lunch breaks. I'll have TikTok on my phone or whatever and be eating while I'm scrolling. And of course, note there's not, in a perfect world, we would never do this. It's fine to do it sometimes, but more often than not, it's better to just not do that. Chatting with loved ones during a meal, chatting with friends, that's fine. That adds to the mindfulness because we are really enjoying the food. But try to eat without any other distractions than that sometimes. And you may find that focusing solely on your food really enhances the enjoyment of the food. And another way to eat mindfully is to chew slowly. And I talk about this a lot when it comes to digestion, but chewing our food slowly is so important. And it seems really basic, right? Like, okay, it can't be that important to chew slowly, but it is important. So chewing slowly, it really helps with digestion. And we often take really big bites and we eat quickly. So what does this do? This leads to bloating. It's going to allow more air in while we're eating. And it also doesn't give the right digestion signals to our body. When in the process of digestion, a lot of enzymes are released, and enzymes help us break down our food. If our food isn't fully broken down by the time it leads into the intestines and for the absorption, it just, our food isn't, the nutrients aren't fully absorbed, and it can cause many other problems. So when you chew slowly, what it does is it makes your mouth generate more saliva. That sounds a little gross, but it's actually really important because saliva is packed with an enzyme, and it's called salivary amylase. So this enzyme called salivary amylase helps to break down the carbohydrates in our diet at the beginning. And it also sends signals to the pancreas to make another amylase, pancreatic amylase, which further digests carbohydrates lower down in our digestive tract, and as well as other enzymes. But if you don't have enough salivary amylase activated by chewing within your saliva, it just makes more work for the other enzymes later down in the process to do it, and it may not break down the carbohydrates as thoroughly as it should. And more salivary amylase means the food gets digested more thoroughly, and you're going to have less digestive upset. And another thing you can do is pausing between each bite. And this goes along with the previous thing of chewing slowly, the previous tip. If you take a pause between each bite, you can ask yourself, okay, am I full or am I still hungry? And you're probably not going to do this when you first start eating. First start eating, usually if we're hungry, you're going to feel hungry, so you might not need to do this, but maybe halfway through your meal, start to pause between each bite and think, okay, am I still hungry or am I full? This will help us tap into our hunger and fullness cues, which are really innate. We need to relearn them because we have, kind of forgotten them, but innately our bodies know when we're hungry and our bodies know when we're full. And again, this can help us avoid overeating and eating past the point of fullness, which just leads to so much discomfort, digestive upset, and can just ruin the rest of your day. And of course, if you're trying to maintain your weight or lose weight, you're going to want to make sure that you just tap into those fullness cues. I do want to mention, though, that mindful eating isn't a weight loss diet, but people who want to lose weight can use this. It can also just help maintain, and it can also just help you get a better relationship with your food. it had absolutely nothing to do with weight loss. So just wanted to put that out there. If you're trying to also heal your relationship with your food, heal from dieting, this will help you as well. And another thing to do that's key within mindful eating is make nutrient-dense foods really accessible. So place these nutrient-dense foods prominently on your kitchen counter for easy access, having bowls and baskets of fruit, having a little bit of nuts in a bowl, and just having these things with easy access is great because usually we're going to reach for the things that are within view and eat them. So if you're trying to cut down on snacking and sweets, consider putting them in the cupboard out of view. Yeah, sure, you may still go in the cupboard and grab them, but if they're always in view, if you just have your box of cookies right on the counter, you're probably going to reach for them more often. So you can kind of trick your mind a little bit by putting the fruit out. You're going to see that, oh, it looks so good. I'm going to have that, or I'm going to take some carrots out of the fridge and prepare them, peel them and chop them, and I'm going to put them in a bowl, and that's going to be accessible for me. And it's actually backed by research. Research indicates that people are prone to eating what's visible and accessible. So I hope that helped you a little bit learn about mindful eating. Again, this is something that I've helped clients with, and they have been very happy with it. And it seems really basic, but it's actually not always easy to do. And again, we're not perfect little robots. We're human. So this is not something that you're going to have to do all the time. But trying to just do this a little bit more can really help you tune into your hunger and fullness cues and really help you, especially if you have digestive issues, if you have some GI issues, stomach issues. This will help you digest your food better, absorb nutrients better, and eliminate some of the digestive upsets, especially if you're eating too fast. So thank you for listening. This is one of my short solo podcasts, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't currently subscribe to the podcast, you can subscribe on my website. You can subscribe on Apple or on Spotify or on Google Play. I also have a YouTube account. I actually have to promote it a little bit more, but if you would like to subscribe on there, I do put the audio podcast. I do put video versions. If you're watching this video, you will see it. I put them on my YouTube as well, so you can watch them. And stay tuned for more, and I hope you have a great day.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Please consult a physician or other health professional before undertaking changes in lifestyle or wellness habits. The author claims no responsibility to any person or entity for any liability, loss, or damage caused or alleged to be caused directly or indirectly as a result of the use, application, or interpretation of the information presented herein.